So, I have been living in Oklahoma for about 6 months now, and I figured right now is probably a good time for me to give you guys another life update. Hello, how are you guys doing? It's so windy today, man. Holy. So if I'm being honest, I've been feeling a little bit weird lately. I think I'm just kind of in a weird place right now, just mentally and creatively and overall vibe-wise. So I really wanted to make this video to kind of open up about all that stuff and just really fill you guys in on what's been going on with me. But first I think I should fill you in on what's been going on over the past like 6 months since I made my last update video. These two orange slices are stuck together. So for those of you who don't know, just a little over 6 months ago, I packed basically everything I own into my tiny little car, and I drove all the way from Chicago here to Oklahoma City. I came here and I moved in with Coleman, who you guys know as Zoel, his brother Caleb, and our other roommate named Cole, and of course, Buddy as well. And honestly, our whole setup here is awesome. It's so cool. We are incredibly blessed to have a super nice house, a nice backyard, we've got a grand piano, and we all each have our own little space in the house, which is really cool and just very nice to have. I honestly could not be happier with our whole living situation. I think it's been incredible. And I've also enjoyed Oklahoma quite a lot. I've met a lot of amazing people. I've seen a lot of really cool stuff here. At first, it definitely felt kind of foreign being here. I was in a place that I really was not familiar with at all. But definitely Oklahoma feels a lot more like home to me now. So in my last update video, when I first got here, I said, we're just gonna be making a ton of music, making a ton of videos. We also really want to do live shows. So we've definitely made some awesome music, that's for sure. We've made probably some of our best songs ever with our band that we made, Park Rangers, and just all the other music that we've been working on as well has been really cool. We've made a few pretty cool YouTube videos, but honestly probably not as much as either of us would have liked to. And we did actually do one live show, which was really cool. It was a lot of fun and it was a great experience, but only doing one live show was definitely not what we had in mind at the time. Hopefully in here we can avoid the incredibly annoying wind noise. But anyways, in that video I also mentioned how we just wanted to focus on just living life and just having fun. And it kind of feels like we haven't done that as much as we could have or should have. But then also when I look back on all the footage that I have from these past few months, we've had a ton of really great adventures and we've done a lot of really awesome stuff. So I don't really know why it feels to me like I'm not doing enough, kind of. It is hot in here, bro. Holy moly. Pumpkin spice candle. 'Tis the season. My Nana sent me this candle for my birthday. It's kind of really weird to always have the feeling of not doing enough. When I really start to think about it, since I've been here, we've done so much. We've gone all over the city exploring and buying things off of Facebook Marketplace. We started a band. We've released some of our best songs that we've ever made. I released my first solo instrumental track for the first time in like 4 years. I've gotten so much better at playing drums. We both performed on stage for the first time ever. We started a podcast, which has been so much fun to do. We launched our merch for Sound Lodge, which was a whole undertaking. There was so much that went into that. I played golf for the first time ever. We got tattoos. We've done just a bunch of things and had a bunch of really awesome adventures. So I think the feeling of not doing enough just mostly comes from the fact that I put very high expectations on myself because I know how much I'm capable of and I really want to share that and show that with the rest of the world. And I think it's also difficult to remember to be present in the moment and really appreciate the things that you're doing and the things that are going on in your life at any given time, because it's really easy to get caught up thinking about the past or the future or whatever. And us humans, we spend the majority of our time in our head thinking about things that aren't even happening, whether they're things that happened or things that might maybe happen. And the real way to be happy and to be fulfilled is to focus on the things that actually exist and the things that actually are happening. And that will make everything that you do so much more memorable and meaningful as well, but obviously easier said than done. Hello, you are currently hanging from my ceiling fan. Lately, I've honestly just felt very uninspired and unmotivated. There's been quite a few times now where I've gone to film videos and then just scrapped them because I didn't really like the way that they turned out. It's really easy to put pressure on yourself to create good art and be inspired and motivated all the time, but the same way that nature goes through seasons and changes throughout time, people do that as well. You're gonna go through periods of time where you're more inspired and less inspired and whatever. That's kind of essentially what we wrote Phases about, people and nature simultaneously going through phases. Should we Spider-Man kiss? Lack of motivation is kind of like this weird snowball thing where you don't feel like doing anything and then you give into that feeling and then that just builds and builds until it feels like you're doing nothing but scrolling through TikTok all day. And also when your brain is wired the way that mine is, it just creates this infinite negative feedback loop in your head where you're not being as productive as you want, but then you're just beating yourself up for not being productive when you should just be recharging and letting your creative juices refill. It's also kind of a tough spot to be in because when you force yourself to be creative, it usually leads to not your best work, usually pretty subpar stuff, but your livelihood kind of depends on you being able to be creative. So you kind of just feel this pressure to be creative and to create stuff even when the spark isn't there, solely because you have to, eat food and you have to have a roof over your head and you have to be able to drive a car. Money being intertwined with anything always makes it a lot more complicated, but especially with art, it just kind of makes it not exactly the purest form of what it could be. In the back of your mind, you might be like, oh, well, this is a really cool song or really cool video that I made, but is it gonna get views? Is it gonna get plays? When in reality, you should just be able to make the art because it's cool and you enjoy it. It also doesn't help that since I've been going through this rough patch, I've been doing a lot more doom scrolling and just being on my phone in general. I've mentioned this before, but I am a pretty avid social media and phone hater. I think social media and all of the technological advances are one of the worst things to happen to our society, which may come as a shock to some of you because if it weren't for the internet, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be seeing me on your screen right now. But truly, I do think the human race is much better without internet. I feel like if I'm gonna have a day where I'm unproductive, I would much rather be unproductive by reading a book or walking around outside in nature, rather than just spend the whole day buried in my phone and having my brain literally rot inside of my skull. At this point, we all basically just spend our entire days plugged into technology, which literally just wastes all of our time away, and then we wonder why it feels like time goes by so fast now. Like 20 years ago, you didn't have the option of being able to just waste a couple hours of your day. It just wasn't a thing, so you had to actually be present and appreciate those moments when you were just bored doing nothing. I feel like people really used to be able to just sit and appreciate a moment that was happening, but now it feels like we have to constantly be stimulated by something. Really think about it, when was the last time you just sat and did nothing? You just let yourself be bored. Even if it's just like 2 minutes, 5 minutes at a time, it feels like an eternity now if your brain's not being stimulated by something. And that is undoubtedly why none of us can just be present in the moment anymore and why time doesn't feel like it means as much and moments don't feel like they mean as much anymore. Genuinely, some of the times when I've felt the best and most clear-headed in my adult life are times when I've literally broken my phone or been unable to use my phone at all. Every time that happens, it genuinely feels like I've been freed from some kind of prison or like woken from some sort of dreamlike comatose state. Probably because that's just how humans are supposed to live, not like plugged into a device at all times. And it is totally 100% possible to break this phone and social media and internet addiction that we all have. And I know because I've done it before several times. I've been completely not dependent on my phone at all, but it's incredibly difficult because all of these devices and all the social media platforms are designed to keep you addicted. They know what they're doing with the pop-ups and the sounds and the colors and everything. It's all designed to keep you hooked. But anyways, that's a really big goal of mine right now, is to free myself from the phone and internet addiction that they have us all ensnared in. And one of the best ways to curb that is by realizing that your brain basically has two modes, creation and consumption. And both are actually very necessary for us. Scrolling on your phone, looking at content, and being on the internet is obviously consumption, but it's to such an extreme degree and it's such worthless, meaningless content that it's simply just a very unhealthy way to consume. It's essentially like eating junk food, but for your brain. Things like reading, learning, being in nature, listening to music, even just watching a movie are all much better, much healthier ways for your brain to consume. But the thing that I personally am trying to do is tip the scale more towards creation as opposed to consumption. And I'm not just talking about creating music and videos the way that you guys are used to. I'm talking about creating in every possible way. I want to write more stories and more songs. I want to draw more often. I want to do more photography and videography. I want to film more non-music related videos just for fun. Just stuff like that where I'm creating without a goal in mind or a purpose, or like I need to make money off of this, or whatever other external circumstances might be affecting the creation of that art. I really want to try to get my brain into the habit of always creating something, no matter what that something might be. And it's very hard when you feel uninspired, but all it really takes is one little spark to get that ball rolling. Is that the right way? I also just had my birthday about 8 days ago from when I'm filming this video right now. I am now 23. Which is very weird. It sounds like a very big, very old number. It was also my first birthday not being able to be with my family, which was kind of sad. However, I did have a very good birthday nonetheless. But usually before my birthday, I just get very doom and gloom, kind of like I don't want to get older, I'm closer to dying, all the worst things you could possibly think about a birthday. I remember as a kid, I would always be so excited about my birthday. I remember thinking I can't wait till I'm an adult because I'll be able to do whatever I want. I'll be able to have ice cream for dinner. I can stay up late and my mom's not going to make me brush my teeth before bed. It's really funny to think about yourself as a kid, and sometimes I wonder what, that little kid would be thinking of me now. It's really easy to separate yourself now from your younger self, but in reality, he's right here. But anyways, now my birthday just feels like a reminder that getting older and everything's changing and time is just flying by. A big part of my brain wants to just ignore it and act like I'm not getting any older at all. And a lot of you probably will just think that I have an old curmudgeon mindset about this whole birthday thing, that I should lighten up and whatnot, which is probably true. But on the bright side, even though I have missed my family quite a lot in these past few months, I have been surrounded by really great people here in Oklahoma, and I also will be coming home to Chicago to visit for Christmas, which is going to be really nice. Usually, my advice to anybody feeling unmotivated and going through a bit of a rut like I am right now would be that you don't always need to feel motivated, but you should always be disciplined. In the past, I probably would have just followed that advice as well, but lately I've kind of just been listening to my brain and my body and allowed myself a little bit of a break. Also, with the whole getting older ordeal, I've just been thinking a lot about the future and my future in general, and as much as I know you guys would love it and have no problems with it, I don't really know if I want to be the guy who's 35 years old and still making how to make a trap beat an FL Studio type videos. And before you start going crazy mode in the comments, this absolutely does not mean that I'm going to stop making tutorials, that I'm going to stop uploading on this channel or doing music videos or anything like that. I will always have such an immense love and passion for making videos and making music and teaching people in general, but there's just this really big part of my brain that wants to do something just even bigger and greater than I've ever done so far. And I don't exactly know what that is yet, but I know that I have this intense feeling of just wanting to be great and do great things and do stuff that's gonna make a difference in the world, I guess, I really just want to take things kind of to the next level instead of staying stagnant and getting comfortable like I talked about in the video when I left home. And maybe that's just because I'm getting too comfortable again or something. And really a big goal of mine is to break out of the whole funny music guy persona that I've kind of built here and really just be able to be me and kind of build a brand on the internet around me and my personality and everything like that, as opposed to just the music stuff. Like a lot of times I'll have really good ideas for videos or social media stuff or whatever, but I always have this voice in the back of my head that's like, but it's not music related. You have to be making a beat in the video. You have to do something where people are getting a musical aspect involved. So most of my ideas kind of just get filtered through the lens of this has to be something relating to music, when in reality I have a lot of other ideas out there as well. And I don't really want to be just forever boxed into the music thing because I am capable of a lot more than just the music stuff. It is so unbelievably windy out here. This was the worst day to film this, but the show must go on, and I must adjust the ISO every 5 seconds on the camera. Another thing is that I really want to connect more with you guys in general. I feel like I've just kind of lost touch with a lot of you guys for a few different reasons. Obviously, one being my general dislike for social media and the internet in general. It makes it a little bit difficult to stay in touch with you guys if I'm not on the internet or my phone as much, or at least trying not to be. Another weird thing is that my shorts, my short form content, have done pretty well recently, which means there's a lot more comments from haters and weirdos and people who just don't know who I am, which makes it a lot harder to respond to and acknowledge the people who really do support me. But I definitely do want to give a warm welcome to all of the new people who have came from shorts recently. I really do appreciate you guys following the channel and you guys just tuning in to watch my journey. And honestly, it's cool. My channel is getting bigger, slowly but surely. I'm so incredibly grateful and thankful to all of you guys for that, because I wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for you. But also with bigger numbers and everything comes a greater difficulty to be able to stay in touch with each and every single one of you. But thankfully, I have a plan to remedy this. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can see it. My master plan. Step 1. Live streams. This is really one of the best ways to get in touch with you guys because we'll be able to just chill and talk in the live stream without me having to go to Instagram DMs or Discord or whatever other kind of stuff. And it's just going to feel like a much more natural way to communicate, at least for me. So the plan is that I'm going to start live streaming every Thursday. The time that I actually go live might differ from week to week, and the live stream itself might only be like 20 minutes at a time, but the goal is to live stream at least once a week, even if it's just a small little stream. So that will begin on the first Thursday after this video drops. Step 2. I am going to be uploading more onto my other channels. I've wanted to do this for quite some time, and I've been planning it for probably almost close to a year now. There's really 4 main ones. This one, feezo, the one you're watching currently right here. This channel, Felix Hamilton, my name. This channel I would consider to be more of my filmmaking channel. Every month I post a video, which is a reel of all the camcorder footage I shot for the month. Those are really cool. That's a really good way to keep up with what me and Coleman are doing in our daily lives throughout the month. That channel is also home to any short films or life vlogs or things of that nature. Think of this one as the home of anything artsy and cinematic and kind of filmmaker-esque. This one, more feezo. This channel is actually new, and it's going to be home to all of the random video ideas that I want to do, but they have nothing to do with music. Mostly just videos that I want to make for fun, just for the heck of it, and that might range from anything from like food reviews, to workout videos, to gaming, to whatever else. And the fourth one is Feezo's Beats, where I post my beats. Naturally. So yeah, I'm personally very excited for the More Feezo channel because it's going to allow me to create whatever videos I want and just be able to ignite the passion that I've always had for making just random YouTube videos. Most of you might not even know this, but before I even found out that I wanted to make music related videos on YouTube, I was basically just filming and posting whatever on my channel. I was doing challenges and urban exploring and cinematography stuff and just whatever I felt like doing. And that was honestly the most fun that I've ever had on YouTube. I'm just so excited to get back into that because I have a ton of ideas up in my little noggin up here that span far beyond just the music production niche here on YouTube. Step 3. Q&A. I personally think a new and updated Q&A video here on this channel is well overdue. It's been a very long time since I filmed a Q&A. The last one I did is actually unlisted on the channel, so I think it's high time I filmed another one. I'm going to do a community post here on the YouTubes, and I'm also going to ask a little question thing on my story on Instagram. What is my Instagram handle? My Instagram is _feezo. It'll also be linked in the description below if you want to go answer my Q&A question thing. You can also leave any questions for the Q&A under the comments of this video here, because that Q&A video is going to be the very next video on the channel after this one. Step 4. So step 4 of the master plan is going to actually involve Coleman. Me and Coleman were essentially talking about how we want to just experience life and go and do a bunch of crazy, wild, wacky stuff, and also be able to incorporate it into our YouTube channels so that you guys can join along for the ride. We're still working out all the details, so I can't say too much about it, but I will say that it's going to involve us uploading some very new, very different content that we've done ever before in the past, and just doing some really crazy, really cool stuff on both of our channels. It's going to be full-fledged once we get into the new year. That's all I'm going to say for now, but I will say that it's going to be very exciting, it's going to be very hype, so stay tuned for that. So all in all, even though I've been going through kind of a rut over the past month or two, I feel like I'm kind of coming out of it now. This video has helped with that. The More Feezo channel has really inspired me to start making videos and everything again, and hopefully this video can just be a reminder to you that I am human, just like you. We all go through stuff, we all go through rough patches, and this video is also somewhat of a reminder to me that I am still very young. I've still got quite a lot more life to live, and I'm still just figuring everything out on this life journey. It's a weird thing I'm doing here with this whole YouTube thing, the whole internet stuff. There's no instruction manual, there's no how-to. So I just want to thank you guys for being along for the ride and honestly for growing up and figuring everything out with me. It's been a long journey that we've had here on this YouTube channel, and it's far from over. I'm sure that one day we're going to look back on all this and just think about how far we've come. All of us, me and you included. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys watching as always. I love you all, and I will see you next time.